Why does all this revolve around Bible camp?
Because that's the most traumatizing shit.
Wait, what were you talking about again? I forgot. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Forgettable, the show that will make you forget where you are, what you're doing, and why you started listening in the first place. My name is Enyo, and I am today's host. Joining me today are my two very good friends, Crow and Freedom. Say hello, friends.
What's up?
I'm a good friend now. Wow,
Yeah,
we really have taken strides here.
Shut up. Anyways, as the host of this podcast, I will choose a topic for discussion, and the winner of the discussion, in my eyes, will host the next episode. Before we start, are there any updates from you guys?
I have a question.
Shoot.
This is the first episode. Does that imply that every conversation we have is a competition?
Yeah, so this one's going to be a little like story based, but obviously it can change with everyone when they're the different host. But yes, I'll be judging your input. If
Okay.
if you're
I
like
mean-
giving it all and I really like your story, or I might just like you better that day,
Oh,
Okay. I mean, you
okay.
did say that I was your good friend now.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. We're starting on a good foot,
Alright.
and it could go downhill very quickly.
Hey, Common, we have known him for almost 30 years, all right?
That's true. That's true. Hudson,
I
any
feel like-
updates?
I was just gonna say, I feel like all conversations are kind of like a competition, right? Because like everybody's judging everybody.
You're going to have a great time in romantic relationships.
I
Moving on.
haven't, You know.
Moving on. I don't want to. I don't want to get down and
Anyways,
sad. Okay, so today's topic, we are talking about camping.
Camping.
So to determine, I want you guys to give me a story, and to determine whose story I pick, I will have you guys give me a title of your story, and I'll pick the best one, and whoever has the best title will go first. If you guys need a second to come up with that, I do have a story about camping that I would like to share.
Okay.
So imagine little Enyo.
well, give us your title.
Yeah, which title?
My title is Clowns.
Lame, didn't like
Oh.
it. Veto.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
New title. I just toss out the story. New story.
No, this one's good.
I
See,
didn't like the
this-
title.
Okay,
It didn't
fine,
reel me
fine.
in.
New title, new
You s-
title. Getting beat with a sock by clowns.
Love it. I want to hear it.
Okay. So imagine little Enyo. He is going to a
Charlie Brown head. Okay.
Yes, he is going to a church camp. And at this church camp, we played sort of like a hybrid hide and seek game. And at first, how they explained it, so the counselors are it, and they have to find you.
It as in the
and
clown.
then- Not that movie hadn't come out yet. The book was out, but not the movie.
Wait, the
there were
movie
mo-
wasn't out. What,
Bro, there-
when were you a child?
There was an It, like, either movie or miniseries before we were born, okay?
Oh, well, I was not aware of that. I was a child at the time.
You're thinking of the one with the Stranger Things kid. That's
Yeah, the good one.
not... Okay.
Ooh.
The one that's in my era.
Uh-huh.
The one that's shot in color. Probably.
Please continue.
When do you think colored movies were invented?
Colored movies. Hold on.
No, okay.
What do you mean by colored movies?
When do you think movies
Whitey.
that were in color were invented?
I mean, I'm pretty sure like World War II still had black and white footage. I think it was somewhere within World War II time frame. So like 1910.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 19.
1910 to like 1920s.
The 20th century, sometime in the 1900s.
It was in year 19 at around the same time that the Earth was pure magma. was when color movies were invented.
In between when the universe started expanding and the sun exploded, sometime around then.
Right after the Big Bang.
So, anyways, it was a game of tag or hide and seek. But when you were found, the clowns, which were the camp counselors, and they were dressed up like clowns, they had to hit you with a sock full of baby powder. And I'm not talking about soft. I'm talking about beaming the absolute crap out of you with a
This is
sock
prison shit.
full of
That's-
baby powder. And the reason why they chose a sock with baby powder is so that there was
You got marked?
yes, so you were marked. There was no cheating.
Oh.
You couldn't
I
cheat
see.
because otherwise, kid would be like, "Oh, I wasn't in. I'm gonna go hide again." Honestly, it was probably the most fun and most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life. I wish I could do it again,
Well, this
but
is
also
like
it was kind of like a
prison
thriller.
stuff.
It's like a scary movie.
In prison, they like freeze. Okay. They get like rocks or like freeze butter and stuff like that. Well, that's a South thing. Have you guys ever like
I've never been to prison myself, so I don't know how
have you guys
you're
never seen a
I
redneck
dropped
mall?
the soap once. That counts, right?
Have you guys never seen a redneck mall?
a redneck
No,
mall.
I have heard of the
I've
frozen
not.
butter thing.
Yeah, it's basically literally just, someone disrespects you, your family, whatever, right? And you get a stick of butter, freeze it, put in a sock, and that thing is lethal.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Mm. Like Sam's butter sock from iCarly.
Yeah, exactly like that. Literally exactly like that.
Was Sam's sock frozen?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's where they got the idea from now, which makes it really fucked up that
I
they
think
let her
I've
have a butter
seen the
sock.
episode where she used that, and it like
It was
threw
in
a
several
kid when she
episodes.
hit it. Right? Did Sam go to prison?
I feel like her character was like very in and out of prison kind of
Well,
thing.
there was an entire arc where she went to juvie, right?
I believe so. I read this is off topic. I read Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, and the like differences between her and her character are stark, and her story is very interesting and compelling. Were you done telling your story, or did clowns come up at all, Enyo?
Yeah,
What's
so
up with that?
Where'd they come in?
the camp counselors were dressed up like clowns, and it was basically you had to go hide in the woods because this was a camp that was in the woods, and you just stayed very hidden, and all of a sudden you'd hear screaming in the distance, and then out popped a clown with a sock.
How many
And then you ran for your
weird-
life before, and you watched your friends get beaten to death with the sock. And you're like, I'm sorry, Jimmy, we just became friends 2 minutes ago while we were hiding in the bush. But you're dead. And I can't go back.
Sounds like a great way to instill a fear of clowns into a child.
I mean, yeah, looking back, probably. It didn't scare me, but
You
Did you
You're too tough.
did you trip a friend to like secure yourself some time, to get away?
did I what?
Or did you like trip a friend, like let's say you and Jimmy, you're hiding behind the bush. The
No.
clown Googly comes out at you.
No, I didn't stoop that low. However, I did use some mild manipulation to convince my new friend that the clown definitely wasn't that way, and I'll meet him over there. And then I ran the
You
other
s-
way.
You sent him as bait?
Look, you
How-
do what you gotta do to escape, man. You don't
How
hide in
old
big groups.
How old were you when you engaged in these Machiavellian tactics?
Oh, I gotta be in middle school, maybe. I don't know.
God, man. You freaking read Sang Tzu, The Art of War, man. Like you knew. You sent a Trojan horse.
Look, you don't have to
Man.
outrun the bear. You just gotta outrun your friends.
Bro, you did what that guy did to that other guy in Squid Game, the Indian guy.
Literally.
I don't remember any of their names.
Well, Well, anyways, moving forward, that was I have a second part to that story, and I'll share it later. But
Okay.
do you guys have titles? Give me titles. Have I sparked any memories of camping?
You actually did with the intro to your story.
Okay, give me your titles. Crow, give me your title.
Uh, Prayers.
Prayers? Ooh.
Yeah, my
Okay.
title.
Okay. Freedom.
Why does all this revolve around Bible camp?
Because that's the most traumatizing shit.
It's similar to band camp.
Uh, so you want me to give a title?
Yes, sir.
Crouching Tiger.
Oh, I'm sorry, Crow, but I gotta know more about this crouching tiger.
That's fine.
All right, Hudson, hit me with it.
All right. It is the summer of 2015. My friends and I have been obsessed with Destiny. Okay, the video game Destiny.
I was gonna ask,
Okay,
like,
yeah,
you mean, like Destiny?
I
or-
mean, is this like a girl named Destiny, or is this
No,
like?
no.
I think
This
it's
is
definitely
the
Destiny.
only true Destiny that's out there, which
Now-
is Bungie's
Was it Destiny 1 or 2?
amazing Destiny 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Bungie's amazing expansive MMO RPG experience.
Now, if I know anything
Uh,
about gamers, they don't go camping. So what's up with that?
Not sponsored, by the way. So, we were in the thick of Trials of Osiris, which is a mode where you have to get 7 wins in multiplayer against another team of 3, another stack of 3. You have to get 7 wins concurrently without losing or anything like that, right? And what you get for going flawless is like the best rewards in the game, basically, right? And it's just like it's a crowning achievement, you know.
Okay.
So we were
Flawless.
pulling out.
Flawless
Go ahead.
is like you don't get hit.
No. So flawless, as in you win 7 games
Okay.
against another team in a row,
Okay. Okay.
different teams.
You dominate them.
Yes,
You
you
spit in their
absolutely.
face.
Yes, you dominate 7 different teams on the road to the lighthouse,
Okay.
which is where you get to go if you go flawless. And so we were pulling out every tactic in the book to make this possible, right? Every single cheap thing you could do, we did. We got every single god weapon, pulled out all stops, all. I can't curse.
I mean, you can. You can. I
Okay,
chose not
all
to.
bitch tactics.
but- Okay.
Mhm.
And so we were in game 7, match point. It is a 1-on-3. I'm the one. All right.
Oh,
It is me attempting to solo the final 3 people that we need to send us to Mercury, to the lighthouse.
so hard right now.
I realized what this camping reference is going to be.
Crow hates
I-
this. He's getting mad already.
It was Cauldron, and I found the one door. Okay, let me just back up, right?
Destiny players are glued to their screens right now.
My friends screaming in my ear. I tell them to shut the hell up. It is dead silent. They mute their mics. Not a single word is said in this party for the rest of the game. All I'm doing is using my Batman echolocation on my Turtle Beach 2007 headset.
Hang on. When you say echolocation, I have a mental image in my head of you like screaming in your mic, and then the screen bounces off the walls and gives you the location of the enemies.
Yeah, I used game chat. I used game chat so I could
Is this-
scream in game.
Does Destiny have proximity? Are you using proximity to?
I was throwing stones at a wall so I could locate the enemies.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Yeah. I sit right by the same door for the entire 5 minutes. And they have to kill me, right? They can't. There's a win mechanic at the end of the game, right? But it's 3-on-1, you know? They can take one guy. So over the course of those 3 to 5 minutes, every single one of them, all 3 of them, one by one, pile through the door. My shotgun aimed straight at their face the entire time. Immediately as the door opens, bam, dead, one. Right? There's a pause. You can feel the tension in the party that I've just killed one. They're taking me a little bit more seriously now, right? And so I don't move a muscle. Most people would freak out. I held strong as a hunter would, you know? They wisen up. One of them, I can hear them on my 2008 Razer headset or Turtle Beach headset run all the way around, but they did not time it correctly. So one came through the front door first before they counted it off. Bam. As soon as it opened dead, immediately flicked to my left because I knew exactly when he was coming in, where he's coming, lined up perfectly. Bam. Flawless, straight to Mercury, baby. Sent us to the championship. We went to Disney World.
Oh.
This guy, I think this guy's a gamer.
Freedom? Have you ever touched grass?
You ever been outside?
What is that?
What is grass that green stuff that's in the video game that makes like that?
Oh, are you talking about my Bud Light seltzer that I have right in front of me right now? My citrus Bud Light seltzer, that's green.
Sure. I don't know.
Not sponsored.
So, did you perhaps have wall hacks?
No, I just used my skills of
Used
echolocation.
He just said.
So you could hear them
As
walking.
the shotgun shots rang out, I was able to figure out where the enemies' bodies were displacing the sound. So that's how I knew where they were.
I mean, if your headset was cranked up that high, how did you even hear footsteps? Because your ears must have been bleeding after the first 2 you
Enyo,
shot.
I was a gamer, okay? I played Rainbow Six Siege religiously. I know what a footstep sounds like, okay? I know exactly where
I
that
know,
shit is
but
coming
your
from.
ears must have been bleeding after those
Don't-
gunshots.
Do not test this man. You will lose.
I will not. I will not. This is a great story. I love that story. Crow, I want to hear about prayers.
Prayers. I just
Prayers.
made up a title.
Okay.
Well, after that banger, I don't know if I can deliver. But for this one, I was actually outside of my home.
Okay.
So it's like
Already
years
winning.
matter. I think I was somewhere between 10 and 20. My parents sent me to Bible, or it was a religious camp of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I remember very little about it because of this one event that overshadowed everything else.
Oh, God.
I don't remember how or why, but they have us in like a cabin. They've got bunk beds. I'm on, I think, the top bunk of a bunk bed. I don't think
God.
I don't remember if anyone else is with me or like on the bottom bunk.
Yeah,
I
you
just
were
remember-
Overwatch.
You got the better situation of the 2 beds.
I really did because of what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. Yeah,
The trip started out great.
It did, and I don't recall why or how, but I remember I woke up. I turned to my right, looked over the edge of the bunk bed, and I vomited onto the floor.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And I continued vomiting for quite a while.
Okay.
I feel like we missed something here.
I don't remember the cause of this. I think it might have
Did
been
you
their
get
bad
roofied?
food. It might have been their bad food. I don't know. It was Catholic camp. I'm not going to rule that out. I may have had bad food, but
It was
I
Catholic
think-
camp. You might have gotten roofied.
I think I believe
Jessica with the
priests.
braces really liked you. She wanted you to come back with her to her cabin.
She fucked it up though.
She went too much.
So I think I had to get out of my top bunk, avoid the vomit, and like rouse a counselor who
Oh.
then like sort of helped me mop it up and clean it up.
Oh,
And I
Oh.
think some of it got onto my sleeping bag as
oh,
well. So that was like stowed away.
it's just so
And
sad.
the thing is, they didn't have extra sleeping bags and it was cold.
No.
So they just sort of sent me back to bed. And I had to put on the rest of my clothes that I had just to not freeze.
Just to
And I
make it
was
through the night.
I was shivering in that bunk bed, alone, sick, trembling. And I remember that is the only time in my childhood life that I resorted to prayer to save me because I was fairly certain I was going to die. They had forsaken me. They didn't give I don't they may have given me water, I don't know, but they certainly didn't give me a blanket.
You prayed for warmth.
I clutched that rosary and I prayed to make it through the night.
Oh,
Now,
no.
how long did that night go on? Because putting
Well,
myself
standard
in
night, you
your
know.
shoes.
They're usually 12 hours. I don't know.
Well, so like mentally putting myself in your shoes, I think I've been in a situation similar to that because I'm sort of getting this like feeling of your trauma of like you're sitting there, you're freezing, you know, you feel sick, you miss home, you want to go home, you don't want to be there in that situation.
Yep.
You
True.
already had to muster up the balls to go wake up the counselor
Yep.
and tell him that, Mom, I threw up.
I threw up.
And now you're just sitting there with all your clothes on, shivering. I can imagine that night seemed like it went on for hours until, I don't know, you fell asleep or something. But
What he's saying is your trauma is unoriginal, Crow.
not unoriginal, I'm saying shared. I've been in that situation where I'm like, I can't do anything. I just got to make it through the night or something like this.
Yeah. I think it really had a hand in shaping me into the man I am today.
God,
That's the only thing I remember about that trip. And
I
it
can
was very
imagine why.
formative.
You traumatized. Everything
Yeah.
else got blacked out.
I, yep. Honestly, I'm forgetting some of the details now, but I remember two things. I remember that I vomited and they didn't give me a damn blanket.
Jeez.
So Jessica with the braces still might be the culprit at the end
Jessica
of
with
the
the
day.
braces.
And she might be out there. Everybody, you need to check your kids.
Well, hey, I'm older now. I have a real bed. Where's Jessica at?
Oh God.
Where's she at?
You still
Oh.
got those braces?
So that actually reminded me, or not reminded me, but that's a good preface into my second story, which will give you guys time to come up with two more stories. I want two more
God.
stories.
God.
Are these camping stories or?
Camping related. You could even talk about the concept of camping and why you think it's stupid. Just anything.
Okay.
But so the same church camp that I was at, one day or I guess they had it planned that we were going to go on this great journey, and honestly, it was awesome. It was so much fun. So we grabbed like, I don't even know how many kids were there, but I swear we had like 25 canoes. 3 kids in each
Why'd
metal
you say it
canoe.
like that?
Yeah, he said
Why'd you say canoe like that?
Canoe?
canoes.
Canoes?
It just you really made it obvious that there were two syllables. I don't know. You said
You
it a
said it
certain way.
like
Canoe.
you said it like the Google Translate says a word. You know? Canoe.
Well, it was a big metal canoe. And we had 3 kids per canoe. You had 2 kids who actually had to do work and 1 lazy kid in the middle who didn't have to paddle.
Yeah.
And so we set off on this river, and I think we canoed for maybe like an hour or 2 hours. We took a lunch break halfway through, and we were going through this like marshy area. It was really cool. The weather was nice. And then we ended up getting to our destination. which was like this little beach with this wooded area that had a bunch of camping tables and stuff like that. So a truck met us there that had like all of our tents and stuff. So we stayed there and we were gonna camp out in the night. We like played and stuff, but skipping forward to
This sounds great.
yeah, it was so much fun. It was like an adventure. It was like real camping to me. And so then I think we had, kumbaya by the fire and stuff like that. Ate
Wait,
dinner and stuff.
You had kumbaya. What
That's
does
where
that
you
mean?
sing kumbaya.
You've never heard the term kumbaya, Freedom?
Well, I've heard the term
Kumbaya, my
kumbaya, but like,
lord.
oh,
Kumbaya.
I
The
forgot
it
that this
the
is still Bible camp.
it is still Bible
It's
champ. We
Bible
got to
camp,
do our
baby.
chanting. So I had a lot of fun. It was great. Now it was time to go to bed. So we all had these tents that they set up. We may have set them up. I don't remember. And I had 2 other boys in my tent, and we went to sleep. I did not bring like a flashlight or anything because I thought I didn't need it. It was fine. And this was before the age of everyone had a cell phone. So I didn't have a phone. Didn't have a neat little flashlight on my iPhone. And so I wake up in the middle of the night. I have to pee. So bad. And I'm like scrounging around and it's pitch black in the tent.
Oh no.
The kid next to me is snoring and the other kid is sleeping. He's not snoring. And I'm like, okay. Well, I don't have a flashlight. I don't have a little lantern, but I'm sure, the moonlight is bright enough for me to see. So I very quietly, and I don't know why, but I have this like fear that I'm not allowed to be outside of my tent at night. So I need to be quiet.
What a weird fear. What a very arbitrary.
It's like that when you're creeping around the house when you were young and you don't want your parents to catch you.
Oh, I can get that.
Like for some reason I went into that mode and I
Well-
unzip the tent very slowly and I creep out. And immediately I know I'm fucked. Because I can't see a damn thing. It is
Oh, no.
pitch black. I've never been anywhere that has been so dark outside. And I guess it was because it was maybe a little bit cloudy or how dense the forest was that we were in. But I couldn't see anything. And so I kind of stood there for a while and waited for my eyes to adjust, and it didn't happen. I'm like, okay, well, I know where the bathroom is because I used it a couple times before I went in there.
So to someone else's perspective, right? Like let's say someone else can see. Or like let's say an animal's looking at you, right? You emerge from the tent, little Charlie Brown, right? And you just sit there and you stare forward.
Oh, I'm
Like,
sure if you
you're
turned on
just
the night
standing
vision,
there.
you'd think I'm possessed because my eyes are open so wide because I'm trying to get all the light into them so I can see.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
so the bathroom was a little outhouse that was maybe 50 yards away. And I had to sort of route myself in between the rows of tents. And
Oh, so this was an obstacle course.
it was, yeah. I mean, so imagine, you're sitting there. Imagine your eyes are closed. My eyes are open, but they were better off being closed because I could probably see more with my eyes closed. So I'm like
Okay.
sitting there walking by, feeling the tents and like trying to be as quiet as possible because I don't want a counselor to catch me while I'm trying to make it to the bathroom.
You don't want him to hit you with the flower sock.
I don't want to get assaulted by a clown.
The nighttime is when it turns into the butter sock, okay?
That's how the last 2 kids died. They left their tent prematurely. And they were assaulted by a butter sock.
And then the only thing the other kids could say was, it was the clowns.
It was the clowns. I think this little stroll to the bathroom probably took me maybe 10 minutes,
Dude, how'd you not piss yourself?
Yeah, this was pitch darkness.
but 10 minutes in pitch black. And it was only to when I finally like made it up the tiny little hill to the porta potty and I felt the handle of the porta potty, and when I pulled it open, like I heard angels calling because the lights were on in the porta potty. It had a light in there.
Now, was this number one or number two?
I had to pee. It was number one.
So did in no part of your little kid brain it didn't occur to you that
No,
you could
that's
just
illegal. You can't.
Right.
You can't pee in public. Now,
Right, yeah.
adult me
this is-
would have just pissed right outside the tent. You just hang it out and go.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, okay. I probably would have circled around to,
Yeah.
behind the tent.
I mean,
just
but there's
piss right
tents
there.
everywhere. So this is like, it's almost like
Yeah.
a grid style
Piss in front of
of tents.
piss in front of somebody else's entrance is what I'm saying.
To me, that was
Mark your
illegal,
territory.
and I'm not allowed to do that. And also, I'm also terrified for some reason of counselors. No part of me was worried about like the fact that there are like known to be bobcats in this like area that we
Yeah.
were at, because they pointed out multiple times when we were walking trails. Oh, that's bobcat scat.
Great.
This is even more evidence on why you should have marked your territory. You should have completely pissed outside that tent.
Yeah.
They would not have messed with those bobcats. Would not have messed with you afterwards.
I'm sure your fear of counselors had nothing to do with the clowns attacking you earlier in the day.
No, it was just a general fear of adults.
Ah,
We're-
So, yeah, I finally made it to the bathroom, finally peed, and then a perfect juxtaposition to the situation that happened earlier was my walk back to the tent. The moon was shining and I could see. So I just strolled on back to my tent and went back to
moon
sleep.
came out.
Like, what? Where was the moon prior to this when I had my, like, I was walking around feeling the tents, and, like, I'm sure
Hey.
if anybody saw me, they would have been like, what the hell is going on?
Hey, as you learned on that Bible trip, right? That church trip, God gives his strongest or gives his hardest challenges to his strongest challengers, or whatever.
God
it's
gives
supposed
his silliest battles to his funniest clowns.
to be. There we go. Couldn't have said it better myself. Was that Old Testament?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Genesis 6:9.
Nice.
Title: Unconscious.
What is okay? What is your experience at church camp?
Okay, this
Why do you
is not-
assume this is church
this is-
camp?
Okay, come
Yeah.
on.
Hang
It's
on, hang on.
unconscious. It has to be church camp.
I got a title.
Bro. Okay.
God.
We'll cut that out. We'll cut that out.
No, just bleep it.
Hudson,
man.
do you
Now
have a
it's
title,
really
or do you
church
need more
camp.
time?
Those priests really coming after you at church camp, man. Left behind.
I'm gonna have to go with crows.
Mine isn't really that interesting. This is not my experience. We've officially run out of my experiences. I read about it in a book, but it's
Nah,
still
cut that out.
interesting.
Cut that out. This is his experience.
This is my experience. It's happened to me. So the gist of it, well, so man was I. Yeah, let's go with this.
Man.
I was camping. I was camping in the woods with my wife. Okay.
With your wife.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay, again for context, Crow saying his wife is also the funniest context on the planet. If you know him personally, sorry.
I'm sorry that my wife
It's
is
the
so amusing to you.
Continue, Crow. I'm
So-
excited to hear your story about you and your wife.
Yeah. I'm camping with my wife, right? This is like anniversary thing. And
How many years have
it's-
you and your wife been married?
or I think it was around 5 or 6.
Okay.
Man, was.
So going strong. Going strong.
So we're camping, right? And it's nighttime. We're sleeping under the stars in our tent. And this like I'm asleep and I hear this, I hear this like bobcat or bear, just like some animal like forcing its way into the tent and like laying on top of my wife, or like getting on top of my wife.
Wait, you're on your wife or the animal's on your wife?
The animal is on my wife.
Where are
I
you
was
in
on
the
my wife
story?
earlier. I was sleeping. I told you.
Okay, okay. So you just, kind of peep your eyes open, a little
Yeah,
bit
and there's this
groggy.
thing on my wife, right?
Oh, okay.
So I freak out, right?
It was
And
Enyo.
I start attacking it,
Right.
right? And I
Do
don't
you
really
start
have,
attacking or are you accusing right off the bat? Are you
I'm
You
attacking.
bitch. How dare you?
It was clearly
With a
an
bear?
animal. Like if that was the situation, I would have gone right back to sleep. I wouldn't deny my wife any of her peculiar tastes, but it was clearly a hostile situation.
Got you.
I charge the thing from my prone position. I'm like attacking it, it's scratching me. I'm trying to choke it, and eventually it goes limp. And then I wake up fully, and it's my wife. I've just essentially strangled my wife.
Oh my god. You can't do that to me.
Wait,
I apparently could I could do it to my wife.
Okay, so my brain's
So-
going like
Now I've had a
a dream.
history. I have a history of sleep paralysis events.
Oh
Where-
yeah.
Or not sleep paralysis, like sleep somnambulism is the word. So the judge, because this obviously gets to court, eventually rules, with help of my defense, that because of that, I was only acting out of like instinct and habit. It was not a premeditated murder or
It's
anything. or even
manslaughter.
it's essentially manslaughter.
Yeah. Because
It
you
was
didn't
not
have the
conscious.
mens rea. You had no prior thought of killing her or anything. It was
Well, that's not
purely
even
instinctual.
Like crimes of passion are still crimes. You can still like not plan and murder
Right.
somebody and stab them
Well,
consciously.
yeah,
But the
you
point
don't
of this was
need-
that it was acting on habit, and that's like stuff stored in the basal ganglia of the brain.
Right, fight or flight.
It's not conscious. It's instinct. It's not even a choice.
But you weren't
Essentially,
fully aware of what you were doing.
correct. I
'Cause
wasn't
you were
aware at
asleep.
all.
Yeah.
I was just reacting instinctively to perceived danger.
well,
Right.
okay. You're talking pretty heavily about how you understand a lot of things that were going. This sounds rehearsed. This sound.
What
this
are you talking
sounds
about?
like this sounds like a story you made up, Crow.
What are you talking about?
Hey, I said anything goes. It can be a book you read. Anything.
I'm just saying. This sounds.
Why would you
a
disrespect
whole
my
lot,
wife's memory like that?
This sounds a whole lot more meditated than you're
It-
letting on.
If we
okay?
give some context, talking about leaving him 2 weeks prior to this occasion.
I don't think that's
Okay.
relevant.
And how do you get your wife confused for a bear? Like
She
Like, I'm
was
not-
hairy,
I'm not
all
saying-
right?
I was
She
essentially
refused to
asleep.
shave.
I was asleep.
No, I could totally see that happening. And I actually have a small tangent. And we should honestly do an episode on this probably next time I host. But my mother one time, so I'm a very I can't think of the word, but I sleepwalk and I used to have, I don't sleepwalk now, but I am like a very, God, I can't think of the word when you're, like you sleep really heavy and so your dreams come true. Like they feel
What
like
the-
they're,
you sleep so heavy that your dreams come true.
look, I'm working on a song,
Like-
okay?
You in Disneyland? You a Disney princess, dude?
You got me, I'm Ariel.
Damn.
Anyways, my mom has the same thing, and I guess it has to do when you're really tired or you watch something scary or something before you go to bed. But apparently, my dad caught her in the kitchen, standing on the counter with one of my dogs in her hand and a knife in the other hand.
Oh,
Jesus.
And he woke her up and took the knife away.
no.
And apparently, she had fallen asleep watching a documentary on nutria rats. And so
What
she
is that?
thought nutria rats were in the house.
What are nutria
Reasonable.
rats?
Nutria rats are simply like rats the size of small dogs that live in the swamp.
And did she think your dog
She was asleep.
was a nutria rat?
She was asleep. So, yeah. That's terrifying. But I mean, I could
Dude, like-
believe like that if you're asleep and you see that, because you're like you're not conscious, but you are.
Dude,
You're like within, you're still in the state of REM. And
that
that's
must
why you're
be-
not you have those basic senses turned on, but consciously you're not, like, you can't make those complicated decisions of like, oh yeah, that's not a bear on my wife.
Basically, you
That
can react
must-
to things, but you can't make decisions about
Yeah.
things.
But you still can see stuff. My sister sleptwalked before, and I had a conversation with her and told her to go to bed.
Cool.
It was creepy. It was so creepy because she was asleep and she came and sat down on the couch next to me while I was playing Halo, and I was like, "Hi, Sam. Um, you, are you asleep? Are you sleepwalking?" And she's like, yeah." I was like, "Okay. Why don't you go to bed?" She's like, "Okay." And she just got up and walked to bed.
Dude, sleepwalking must be the most horrifying thing on the planet, right? Like knowing that you're someone who sleepwalks, because I mean, you can get yourself into such horrible situations from
Yeah.
sleepwalking.
I'm gonna
It's
have
a-
to do
it-
a whole thing on this because I got so many bad stories, messed
Yeah,
up
it's-
stories.
It's like you're saying, your mom literally on the counter with a knife. She's not awake. What if she's like falls?
What if one of
you
us
know?
walked in? What if she
Yeah.
fell? Yeah.
And I've seen so many horrible stories where someone like is a sleepwalker, right? They get out of bed, they go fully downstairs in the road, and then they just like get hit by a car,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Because I mean, and they have no idea. They can't control it, you know?
Yeah. Good story, Crow.
Thank you.
I like this story. Hudson,
I'm glad.
what you got for me?
What was that? What was the story? It was Left Behind.
Left
Okay, that was the title of the story. Left Behind. So this, as all good camping stories start, in the summer of '07, right? Of 2007.
Got you.
I was a wee Cub Scout, right? I'm on it's one of my later camping trips as a Cub Scout, I think.
Quick question. Who
Because-
all was a
go
Cub
ahead.
Scout? Who all was in Boy
Uh,
Scouts? Because I was.
Well, me.
Crow?
I was too,
Yeah, I thought so.
We are all such Boy Scouts, by the
for
way.
sure.
Like it is a personality type.
I didn't make it
100%.
past being in there for like a year or two.
I also
For
quit.
like Cub Scouts or like Boy Scouts? Because I quit in Boy Scouts.
I
Like, I
think
was
I
in Cub
started
Scouts.
in Boy Scouts.
Well, I mean, when did you start?
I don't know, probably elementary school because they were like trying to get people in. I remember
Yeah.
doing I did a CO2 rocket car. No,
Yeah.
not a CO2 rocket car, sorry, just a drop car race.
So yeah, that's the wood. It's not the Woodstock race. What is it?
It's balsa wood.
What am I? It's I know exactly what you're talking about. I did that for many years. I loved it so much. I do not remember what the name.
My
of it
dad
is.
and I cheated. We won because we greased our wheels.
Oh,
I don't know if
God.
it wasn't in the
started-
rule book, but my dad was like, I mean, we should put lube on the wheels. And I was like, can we? That didn't come in the kit. And he was like, well, I don't see why not. And then I won
You
first
Yeah,
place.
I say
you
we
were the
can.
kid that I hated.
Dude, my
Oh
car
my
was so much
God.
faster than everybody's. I didn't know why.
I would have hated you as a child. I was such a stickler, you know? I did everything by the book. That was in the explicit rules of things to not do. You optionally chose to not read it, you asshole. And you ruined so many kids' dreams, and they didn't even have a chance.
I look, they could have got it next year because I didn't participate next year.
But that one year, that could have been someone's year, you know?
Yeah, it was my year.
Oh my God, I would have hated you. Okay, we were friends as kids. But like if we were all in school together, right? Would we have been friends?
That's a good question.
Me, yes, because I was friends with everyone. That was my goal. I was just friendly with everyone.
But like,
But how many of your high
I
school
mean, like
friends still talk
actually
to?
friends.
How many what?
How many of your high school friends do you still talk to?
0.
Exactly.
Uh, High
Ooh,
school, I wasn't
that's tough.
necessarily trying to be friends with everyone still. I did have quite a few friends, but I was mostly friends with like all the AP kids because I was in like all AP.
Hmm.
So I didn't know like I didn't know anyone on the football team unless they were in one of my classes. Um, and then after high school, I went to college and made new friends in college. I think you two are the only ones from my past that I still actively talk to.
I feel like I talked to so many people from that were from my past. I mean, I don't know what your experience is, Crow, considering like, I mean, you moved, you know?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I mean, for me, I literally went to college with a group of my friends, you know,
Yeah,
that
that's
like I didn't, it wasn't like a planned thing necessarily.
I knew one person
Um,
at
you knew
Tech.
one person.
One person. It was a guy that I played lacrosse with.
You played lacrosse?
Yeah, in high school.
That is
crossboy.
the wildest juxtaposition that I've ever heard from you. I'm not gonna lie, man. Whenever we were growing up, I thought you lived in a trailer.
And what?
I legitimately thought that you lived in a trailer
No, I lived in a
whenever
house.
we were kids.
He
All
really gave
my
off white
life, I
trash
lived in
vibes,
a
huh?
house. What? I
Well, I
played
knew
sports
that
all
like
my life.
post.
Huge
I knew
sports
that like
person.
post, like after like you and I, drifted apart for a little bit, and then we came back together. I knew that then. But literally as a child, I thought that I was like, oh yeah, they live at the little trailer park.
What little trailer
Like that's
park?
just the vibes you gave me.
Oh, I mean, was it the sport shorts? Because I did wear nothing but sport shorts.
I feel like it was the athletic shorts. It was like I don't know how to describe it, man. Like you were just like you were like a little redneck, you know?
Maybe in how I acted, my mannerisms, but
Yeah.
geez, I mean, I didn't even talk super southern. And I guess
Well, I
possibly the fact that I was missing some teeth. No, I'm kidding. I wasn't missing any teeth. Well, I'm
but
attacking the host. That's gonna do well for you.
all right.
Calling me trashy. Okay. All right.
I'm just saying it how it is,
Moving
you
on with
know?
I
your story. Get back. Get
I think
back
you
to your
look.
story. I don't.
I
We
think
don't
you
want to
look.
talk about how trashy I looked.
I think you look great today, and you.
Thank you. Thank
By
you,
the
I
way,
coach.
agree.
just as an aside.
Thank you.
No, you don't. You already had your say.
No, I was saying in the past he looked like a little redneck, but now he's like a handsome
Huh.
grown-up Charlie Brown.
Minus 2 points.
Okay. This is a points thing?
No, I just threw it out there. It can be if you want it to be.
Is this like Harry Potter, where at the end of the year, arbitrarily people just gain and lose points for
Hey,
for doing the most spectacular world-saving events? You get like 100
I don't
points,
know if you
and
had the
then if
same
you
kindergarten experience as me, but I'm moving your popsicle stick down.
you move
Not the
my
popsicle
clip
stick.
down, no, don't move my clip down.
Oh,
I
you had clips? Okay.
Yeah, I never was moved off of green. I
Husband.
okay. I got moved off of green one time in my entire life and I cried and then my teacher moved me back.
Same here. I don't even know what I did. I think I
Right now
colored
we go to the
outside the
yellow zone.
lines.
I got blamed for something that someone else did. Someone else like jumped on a desk and like screamed or whatever, and everybody pointed that I did it, and then I was like, I didn't do it, blah blah blah, and I was crying, and then she was like, I know you didn't do it. I just had to do it for them, and then my clip got changed back when everybody was gone.
Hmm.
So, anyways, with the story,
Please continue.
nobody was impressed. Okay, I see
Continue.
how it is, but so summer of 07, 08, right? I'm a wee Cub Scout. One of my first camping trips. I believe that I was finally like by myself on one of these trips because usually my dad went, which is always great. But I think that they were trying to get to a point where like not all of the dads would go, where it'd just be like the what are they called? Like the cub leaders, the troop leaders,
Scout leaders?
den leaders. Isn't that what it is?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
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 We were the Weeblo Scouts, I think. And so it was by this lake that we were like camping by. It was like this huge like property, one of those things that like a bunch of troops go to at the same time, right? And similarly, we had like little canoes and stuff like that. But the main event that we were going to get to do on that trip was that we were going to make duct tape boats, right? To go across the little river in.
Now, are
And we were
these
going to compete. Go
human
ahead.
size boats?
Yes. No, yeah, we were going to make duct tape boats that
Okay.
humans would sit in, and we would like paddle from one side to the other side and then back.
That does not
and
seem nautically feasible.
That sounds
No,
awesome.
it is absolutely 100% like a well-known thing that people do is make duct tape boats.
But
Like this is an actual thing.
I made a duct tape sled one time, but it didn't have to float. It just had to go
Duct
down a
tape can
snow
do
hill.
anything.
Can it?
It took
Duct
us
tape is
weeks.
incredibly buoyant.
I saw a video where somebody made duct tape tires for a truck.
Why do we even make things out of everything else when
Well,
this is so easy?
it's like ridiculously expensive because of the amount of rolls of duct tapes you have to use.
I suppose.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. that
Like
makes
how
sense.
many rolls of duct tape did you have to use to make a boat?
Oh, it was very much like this was before the huge environmentalism movement happened, and before we really understood the level of human footprint we were having on nature.
So a
let
few
me tell you,
boxes of 100.
we destroyed an ecosystem.
Got you.
Okay.
Got you. And then after the boat thing, they just sank the boat and said, "All right, fishies, have fun with that duct tape."
Yeah, exactly.
totally
To
not
this
toxic.
day, that lake is no longer habited by fish.
It's just
Wow.
duct tape boats
To this
everywhere.
day. Yeah, instead, whenever you like touch the bottom of like the lake and it's like, ugh, that's gross,
It's
it's actually just
sticky.
like surprisingly smooth.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
smooth. I was saying it was sticky. There's actually a couple children in there who decided to go
Yeah.
swimming, and the duct
Some of
tape
them
just
got
like
stuck.
stuck to it, and they're still there.
Oh God. But yeah, okay. So this was the big event of the trip is we were gonna make duct tape boats and we were gonna compete on like the legs of the boat race with it, right? But to be able to do that, we had to prove to the counselors that we could save ourselves if things went awry, right? Like let's say the boat took on too much water, it sank, and we had to prove that we could swim to the other side like with our own faculties, right? With our own physicality.
They don't want any kids drowning.
Yeah, they don't want any kids drowning.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense.
That would actually be better for the ecosystem.
Yeah, give the Boy Scouts are giving back on this trip. Okay,
Only the strong survive. Only the good
Yeah.
engineer boys get to survive. It's
Today,
like
Cub Scouts.
Sparta, but Cub Scouts. God.
Today, Cub Scouts, we are learning a lesson in Darwinism. Okay.
Some of you will learn it. The other ones
Timmy,
will
you got
not.
some little bit bigger webbed fingers. I think you'll do great.
Some of you will learn it. Others will learn it too late.
Hmm.
But anyways, so to prove that we could save ourselves, we had to first, in the first few days, take a test on that. We had to swim from the dock where we were at to the other dock and then back, right? And like we had like safety gear and all of that stuff, you know? And so we had like a class on how to swim properly and do all that stuff on the first day. And then the second day was going to be the test. And the third day, we were going to have the competition. First day comes around. I am struggling in this water. Okay. I was in the pool a lot as a kid, but the lake felt different, you know? And I never had to swim for distance. So I was trying my best to learn on the first day. I was struggling, but they said, "You're doing great. You're doing fine. Not everybody gets it on the first day. I promise you, you're going to ace this test," right? All the adults trying to cheer me on. The second day comes around. Every single kid passes that goes ahead of me. And they save me for last because they know it's going to take a while.
No.
Okay.
Yikes.
And I am there at that lake for 45 minutes to an hour, just trying to swim back and forth. And every single time I get about halfway and I have to ditch it, use like the life preserver thingy, and come back, rest, and try again. At an hour in, the tester goes, "Okay, Hudson, I don't think that this is going to happen for you today. We're going to try again tomorrow. You're going to wake up early, right? But you need your rest, son. You need your rest." For
Take some
context,
Gatorade.
was 70 pounds. I was a
God.
70-pound child, barely 8 years old, just trying to swim so I could be in a duct tape boat. And so he's consoling me. You know, I'm sad. I'm defeated. And so I go to sleep. I'm thinking about it the whole night. My body is aching.
You've been swimming for
I'm just
about
trying to,
near an hour.
similar to your
I think
story
you need a
on,
break. I think you need some snacks.
prayer, Crow.
Mhm.
Similar to that, this was one of the first nights that I ever prayed for anything in my life. All right. I wanted so badly for God to give me the strength, if he exists, to get to the other side of the lake. Wake up bright and early. It's the morning of the competition. The instructor's out there. I, like a baby duck, dive into the water.
A baby duck.
Little baby duck. I get halfway. And I can't do it. I can't make it. The 70-pound asthmatic 8-year-old cannot get to the other side of the lake. Again, we try for about 30 to 45 minutes. It's not happening. So I have to stand there on the dock. They let me build the boat, by the way. I built a boat for someone else to ride off into the lake in. And guess what? The boat crushes it.
No.
Okay.
No.
It was flawless. Not a dent in it. Didn't take in water whatsoever. Right? My construction skills peak. I wouldn't have even needed to save myself in that water because I did such a good job engineering wise. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But alas, I had to watch as somebody else took my invention, got the credit, and won the race while I was standing on the sidelines.
You know,
And
some
that's the
men,
story about how I was left behind.
some men are meant to be the guy in the chair. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not really out there on the field, but just supporting. You know, you were running support while everybody else like ran paladin,
So
tank,
so when does the
art.
revenge arc start?
Oh, the villain arc hasn't started yet.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
tell you.
Okay. Like
John, if you're
Hudson
still out there, I'm looking for you.
Freedom turns into Michael Phelps. Yeah, I will finally be able to cross this lake.
I go back to that lake after winning 3 Olympic medals in swimming.
Can
And
I
I
test
still can't
now,
do it.
asshole?
It's a 90-year-old man at this point, probably. I'm ready.
I mean, it would have made for such a better story if they just passed you anyways and then stuck you in that boat and had you go and then it sank.
And I drown.
Not drown, but like, it sank and then they're like, oh shit, now we gotta go save him. Thanks, Jackie. This is you're the one who said the kid could go anyways.
Yeah, everybody's just like, who let this kid in the water? And Joey's just sitting there like,
I mean, sticks are buoyant. You couldn't just like try to plank, and I guess you might need a little bit of body fat to hold you up in the water.
Well,
Now,
that's
the
what it.
question
Go
is,
ahead.
can you swim across that lake today? Can you confidently say that?
No.
I think we might have to
cannot.
take a trip. I think
Yeah,
we might have to do
we
this.
gotta do this.
I think we might
Redemption
have
arc.
to.
Yeah, okay, legitimately, I have started. Actually turned a new page, right? I am starting to exercise
Oh,
recently.
Does this
I
include
can
swimming?
run. I haven't gone back yet. Too many bad memories. But I'm just starting with running right now, and I've got about a 15.5 minute mile.
I mean,
So
that's something.
we're getting there, you know.
Yeah.
I run 2 miles, and it's so like the pace is 15.5 roughly, but like I run it in about 26 minutes is like how the calculation works out. Or I jog it at a snail's pace.
That's good. That's good.
okay. That's
Baby
something.
steps. One day we will get back to that lake for the redemption.
We'll find a lake.
And we'll toss you in.
God, I can't
This
imagine how that felt. Just
dude,
like 8-year-old you trying his hardest to, to be able to sail in that boat that you spent so much time and effort making, and then you just had to watch it.
dude,
That is this.
unironically, go
That
ahead,
is
sorry.
this. That is the saddest episode in the Freedom Bird anime.
It's so sad.
That's like you're about to get into the penultimate fight of the season, and then it gives you a flashback arc, so that way you can understand where the main character is coming from.
Yes,
You know?
this is your intro to Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Now it is time for me, the host, to pass down my crown and name the next episode's host. I'm gonna take a little bit of
It's Crow with one
time
W.
to calculate.
Capital C, by the way.
Got a little bit of mean remarks, but that story at the end was just so sad. I don't know if I want to give like a pity win.
There's no pity points. No pity
Does
points.
pity points net it even?
I think the winner of this episode is Crow.
It was
And
never anything else. I'd like to thank not only Jesus, but also God.
Absolutely cheated. This was This was something that was conspired beforehand. Are you serious?
No, look, there's
He told someone else's story.
that's okay.
He read a
believe
book
in-
to you.
You don't believe in my wife?
It brought up like some good topics for me to talk about later. I just kept wanting to talk about the fucking sleep stuff.
I can't believe this. He read you the fucking Spark Notes that he cheated off of in high school.
As host, my word is final. Therefore, Crow shall host the next episode.
Your
Thank-
word is bullshit.
Thank you everyone for listening. You can find me over at Enyo Hawk. I make videos on the internet. Crow, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, I do not.
What about that book you read?
Oh, it's called The Power of
Yeah.
Habit.
Power of Habit.
Give it some fucking credit because it won you the freaking day.
It's called The Power of Habit. It's about how habits control everything
You
we do.
better cite that in MLA format underneath in the description.
Bro, you think don't you say MLA format to me, bro?
Okay,
It better be
APA.
APA, boy. Freedom, do you have anything you want to plug?
Nah, I don't. I was gonna plug your stuff, but I mean, you know what? I don't think I'm too happy with you right now.
Okay, well that's understandable.
I hope you get banned.
Oh my god. Reported.
Sorry.
Everyone, you can follow the podcast on YouTube by subscribing to my channel. I'll be posting it there, and then I will be looking in the future to post it in other places. But for right now, it'll just be on the YouTube podcast area. And everyone, this podcast has been forgettable.